feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I wanna be the great.
I remember waking up every day feeling completely lost, and I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing with my time. When I was working a part-time job, my days were spent distracting myself on my phone, scrolling through social media, or playing video games until it was actually time to go to work. And even when it came to work, I was so distracted by those things that I would often show up late. But then something changed. I made the decision to finally start improving myself. I began to fill those empty hours with things that were a lot more productive. I started reading more, hitting the gym, journaling, and spending a lot more time outside. And at first it felt like I was making a lot of progress. It felt like I was actually doing something with my life. But one day it was sunny, and so I decided to read outside in my backyard. And I was reading the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it was on this day that everything for me changed. I was doing all of these things, reading, meditating, journaling, and working on myself, but I wasn't really moving forward. I wasn't working on what actually mattered most to me. I was just kind of filling time. And sure, I'd replaced all of the bad habits with good ones, but I was still just coasting through life. I was getting a lot smarter, a lot stronger, and a lot faster, but all of that for what? And it was at that moment when I was outside in my backyard, reading the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, when I came across the principle, put first things first. And I realized that even though I was doing all these good habits, I wasn't working on a mission that meant a lot to me. I wasn't doing what I wanted to really do. And I wasn't putting the time and energy into what I loved most. I wasn't putting first things first. And that concept from the 7 Habits hit me hard. Even if you read, meditate, journal, and show gratitude and follow all of the rules of self-improvement, it still means nothing if you don't prioritize your mission. You can literally be absolutely perfect in all of those habits, but you still won't be able to reap the rewards of having a mission. So I made a decision. I decided that I needed to take action. I got a sales job because I wanted to improve my ability to speak to people. And I'd also heard that learning sales was a vital skill if you wanted to own a business. And so I applied to a few places, and soon enough, I was working at a 9-to-5 in the middle of a busy mall doing sales. And I thought this was it, the brand new start of a new chapter. But as I added more and more responsibilities to my plate, something unexpected happened. I started falling off of all of the good habits. I wasn't going to the gym as much. I was reading less. I was skipping my daily gratitude. And while I was learning a lot from my sales job, I was beginning to fall off of self-improvement. My focus was literally slipping. My diet was falling apart. And I wasn't even meditating regularly. My mind was a complete mess. And so I began to feel overwhelmed, like there wasn't enough hours in my day to do what I truly wanted. I would come home from a long day of work and I'd be too exhausted to hit the gym. I'd be too tired to learn something new, and I'd be too tired to work on my business. And instead I would get home and do what was really easy. I would get on my phone and scroll on Instagram, wasting precious time, frustrated with myself because I knew it was better. I was sick of it. Sick of feeling trapped. Sick of letting a 9-to-5 control my life. I felt like I was in a cage, unable to break free and work on the things that I actually wanted to work on. I felt like my job had complete control over me, and like I was the puppet and it was pulling the strings of my life. But I wasn't ready to accept that. I wasn't ready to let a 9-to-5 control my life. I wasn't going to be defeated. So I sat down and asked myself this simple but crucial question. What is the one thing that I can do starting today that will solve most of my problems? And that was the exact moment that everything clicked. I wasn't managing my time at all. I was letting life happen to me instead of taking control of how I spent my hours. Everything changed right there. And you might expect it took something radical, something huge, something almost impossible to do, but it's a lot simpler than you think. You probably expect a long list of complicated tasks in order to take control of your life, but honestly, it takes just 3 simple steps to transform thousands of hours in your life. And once I figured that out, I never looked back. I finally felt free. free from the burden of being controlled by my job, free from wasting time, and finally, free to live the life I wanted. Here's exactly what I did. The first thing I did was make a calendar. It didn't matter if it was on my phone, on my wall, or on my computer. I just needed a visual map of what I did with my time. So I sat down and filled it with the things that truly mattered to me. And this made me realize that I had 6 hours of free time every single day, and those were hours that normally I'd just throw away. I wasn't managing them wisely, so I planned out my days hour by hour, making sure to prioritize what mattered most. This is such simple advice, but it was honestly game-changing. I took control of my time, but it wasn't enough just to make a calendar. And there was times where I would make a perfect calendar. I was so excited to wake up and to finally start living with purpose. And I'd actually planned out everything, my workout, my reading time, my goals. But the very next day I'd literally wake up and get distracted by something, and I would completely forget I even made a calendar in the first place. And this didn't just happen once. And for months I thought the problem was the calendar, that I wasn't making the perfect calendar, that for some reason my hours weren't perfect or something was not right about the calendar. But that was never the problem. The problem was actually me. The problem was that I wasn't even checking the calendar in the morning. And that was the exact moment that I realized the problem wasn't the calendar, it was me failing to check the calendar consistently. So what did I do to solve this? Every morning at 7 a.m., my phone goes off with an alarm that says, check calendar, with like an exclamation point. And I also wrote on a piece of paper, check calendar, and I put that on a wall somewhere that I would see every single morning. And so every time I wake up, I see that piece of paper and I remember to check my calendar. And that one small change made all of the difference. And from that moment onward, I never forgot to check my calendar. And I stopped drifting through the day, unsure of what to do next. So it wasn't actually the calendar that needed fixing, it was just my consistency in using it. The final step was learning how to update my calendar daily. At first I made the mistake of treating my calendar like it was set in stone. I would forget to add things like meetings, birthdays, or sudden plans, and it created so many problems. I'd miss important events or overbook myself because my schedule wasn't up to date. And that was exactly the moment that I realized a calendar isn't something you make once and completely forget about. It's something that needs to be updated and adjusted daily. And this only takes a few minutes, but it keeps you perfectly on track. Every morning when I check my calendar, I make sure to update it for any new events that had popped up. This final step made everything so much easier. Now my schedule is flexible enough to handle life's surprises, but it's also structured enough to where it's easy to follow a daily routine. If you're tired of wasting time and you feel like your job is controlling you, but you still want to make every second count, I promise that these 3 steps will change everything for you. I never looked back since implementing them. Managing my time has finally allowed me to focus on the things that actually matter. It's given me the freedom from the endless cycle of distractions, and it's allowed me to live every single day with purpose. Now I know that I'm making the most of every hour, and I'm no longer controlled by anything outside of my mission. If you want to take control of your life, if you're truly ready to stop drifting through your days, to stop living passively, and to start chasing your dreams with everything you have, then this is your moment. Subscribe to my channel because this is where we begin a journey of transformation together. We'll learn how to master ourselves. We'll learn how to lead with confidence, purpose, and strength. But this isn't just about personal growth. It's about something bigger. It's about becoming the kind of man who inspires others, who sets the example, who leads not just for himself, but for the others around him. And when we do that, when we fully commit to being the best version of ourselves, we won't just change our own lives. We'll change the world. And it starts with you, right here, right now. Let's make it happen, together. My name is Justin, and remember, you deserve the consequences of your actions.